to make sure that we actually go live. All going well. We get a notification that says we're live. Meeting is now on live on the book face.
On the book face. Excellent. How you going, man?
Good, man. And yourself?
Good. How's your week been? What have you been up to?
I've been setting up a bunch of systems for our new office manager. So it's actually been really good because sort of built out her default diary, as we always talk about. And within her default diary, put links to little training videos and some step-by-step instructions in there. And I've only caught up with her 3 times this week for a total of about 4 hours. And so far, so good. She's been nailing it without really doing much or paying much attention. So must be working.
Yeah, onboarding is such an underrated part of the hiring process that so many people are underestimating.
100%. Yeah, they need to have such confidence coming into it, not turn up and then kind of figure it out. Give them some confidence that there's there's a plan going forward and whatnot. But I mean, topic for another day, obviously.
Yeah, all good. What are we here to chat about today, Mr. Cameron Upton, head of professional building?
We've had a bunch of the same conversations we always have, as usual. A lot of guys wearing all the hats in the business, getting into business because they enjoy it, realizing that they then are stuck with a bunch of different tasks, roles, and responsibilities that it's not fun, but needs to get done, or else the business falls apart. So we want to try and cover off how to balance that back out, get back more into what you enjoy doing, whilst also making money along the road, and then how you can kind of still keep the wheels functioning, the wheels rolling, the machine rolling, with delegating and outsourcing this to other people in the team or other people in general. So you've got more you can share on this, Owen. So why don't you break us down a bit more detail?
Yep, sweet as. So this is really for you if you don't have heaps of time in your week to be working on the business, so that you can build a structure, build a framework that's really going to allow you to sort of understand what you need to do to delegate so that you're able to elevate. So there's 2 parts to that. What do you delegate, and then where do you elevate to? So this is actually there are 4 points, or 4 big points, that we coach our members on when we're talking about how to delegate things. Okay, so the first part is we want to get rid of, that's a whiteboard marker. First thing we want to do, I was going for my highlighter, is get rid of the repeating and recurring tasks. So shit that goes on every single month, every single week, every single bi-weekly, right? Things like ordering materials, coordinating subs, running site meetings, running client meetings, sending invoices out, all the stuff that happens every single month. These are the repeating and recurring tasks, and because they repeat and recur, we should have a checklist for them, a how-to for them, a process, teach and train and coach some of our team on doing them. So that's kind of like step 1. That's like the lowest hanging fruit when it comes to working out what things we need to delegate or outsource. The next part is things that are below your PBR, your professional builders rate. So what's your hourly rate? And everything that is below that, we need to work out how we can get that off your plate. Okay, so we've done a training on your calculating your professional builders rate or your hourly rate as a business owner. You just want to type into the search bar of this group PBR, right? Or professional builders rate, or just even type into the chat box PBR so that we can hit you up with the exact sort of calculation that you want to do. The next is you want to do a time audit and a stop doing list. So look back at your previous week. Okay, work out all the highest value tasks, the feeding the animals tasks, and the white noise activities. Okay, we actually went through this on a training, and we want to time audit your week and identify what are the tasks you need to stop doing. It's the second most important list in your business, your stop doing list. Okay, and what you want to do with that stop doing list is you want to basically get rid of it over the next 90 days, but also that can form the basis of the job description for the next person that you might hire, whether that be an office admin, half part-timer, whether that be an apprentice, whether that be a carpenter or a project lead, okay, whatever it needs to be, that's going to be your stop doing list. But the one I want to talk to you today about in a little bit more detail, done it again, a little bit more detail, is your fun skills matrix, okay? So this is quite fun, so bear with me. And please remember, laugh at my jokes, comment on my stuff if you think that they're funny.
All of those good things. Feed the ego.
Exactly. So, fun, skill. Make sense so far?
It's I'm with you, man. We're so far so good. 10 out of 10.
Fantastic. I don't want to go too quickly and lose everybody, but there's basically 4 quadrants to this, okay? So as you can understand, this up here is your high skill and high fun. This one here is your low skill and low fun. All right? Make sense?
Yep, with you, man.
Okay, so what we're going to do is you've done up here for this activity a bit of a time audit. You want to do the same thing, but we're looking at it through a slightly different lens. All the tasks that you typically do in a standard week, standard fortnight, okay, standard month, we're going to put into these categories here. So for example, I might go ahead and I might put things that are high fun and high skill. What we usually see working with residential builders is normally like negotiation, clients, sales, okay, that sort of fun stuff. Typically, the high fun but the low skill stuff, we get a little. This ruffles a couple of feathers, but this is the honest truth when we're looking at it through this lens. Okay, it's on the tools. Okay, so what we want to see is maybe you got into business in the first place because you're a really damn good builder. Okay, you identified as being really bloody good at what you do, and you probably are, otherwise you wouldn't have lasted this long. But the reality is that's the fun part, okay? But in terms of the number of people that are in your organization or out in the market that we can find, this is low skill. There are a lot of people out there that we can find to get on the tools for us. There are very few people out there that we can find that can go and do for us all the sales, all the growth, all the hiring, all the firing, all the high skills jobs that we need to get done, okay? So that's why this falls down to this quadrant here. Over here in the high skill, low fun, probably not why you got into this business in the first place, okay? Yeah, pricing and estimating.
Yep.
Okay, so like doing QS stuff, and then also accounting. Okay, like your P&L. What's that?
It's not fun for you?
It's not why I got into business to start with, okay? And I'm sure after talking with hundreds, if not thousands of our members, it's a common theme of why they did not get into business. They got into business to build epic projects, provide a better life for themselves and or their families. It wasn't to be balancing a spreadsheet, sorting out a cash flow forecast, sending out invoices, pricing jobs late at night, dealing with all that shit.
Yeah,
okay.
I think I'm with you, but I don't know. Give us some feedback, guys. Let us know in the comments below. Are you more of an accounting person, say accountant, or are you more of like a on the tools or a craftsman? Chuck that in the comments.
Yeah. Cool. And then we've got things that are low fun and low skill, like ordering materials. Okay. Coordinating subs. Okay. All that sort of shit that just goes on, which, as we've kind of already identified, repeats and recurs and is below your PBR, okay? So as a rule of thumb, once you've categorized things into these 4 quadrants, this is the stuff that you want to double down on, okay, if I go over here. So this is like green light. Do more of this. This is the kind of things that we want to prioritize into your week and double down on, right? This is orange light. This is the stuff that we want to get out of. This is nice to have, but not necessary. You can't go on holiday, okay, if you're still doing this stuff. You need to be able to have a team, have people in process, systems that run the business and people that run those systems, okay, that are going to be able to do some of these tasks, okay? So you need to get rid of those. They're your orange light things. Same up here. In a perfect world, what we're going to do is we're going to outsource, we're going to outsource these things, okay? So this is your outsourcing quadrant, okay? Find a professional service to do them, an expert who's got a very high skill set, and get rid of it because it's not fun. It's your business. You should be able to do what you want to do, okay? So these are the things that we're looking to outsource. And then lastly,
a job to do as well, and at a predictable cost that you can on-charge to the client as well for that service.
100%. That comes back to like our charging for quotes process. A lot of our members use, like we call it an SLO, self-liquidating offer, a way to cover the expense of getting a QS or getting somebody to estimate or price the job, right? Yep. Nobody's getting rich off charging for quotes. Okay, we've got members around the world, And we got a member in Melbourne, yes, Melbourne, but they charge 17 grand for a preliminary service. Okay. Housing companies, group housing companies, will charge between sort of like 4.5 to 7.5 for that package. Okay. And then most of our members will charge between sort of like 950 right up to sort of 5.5. It really depends on the scope of what you're doing. But even the member getting charged sort of 17 grand for that, they're not getting rich off of that. They're getting rich off the projects. What they're doing is they're sorting out the tire kickers, being incredibly exclusive, and converting massively on their back end, which is their building, okay, and having a very high jump bar for people to jump over to get into building. So we'll break down the charges for quotes another time, but how do you afford a QS? How do you afford an estimator? Charge for your quotes. It liquidates its expense. So these are your orange things, okay? These are the ones that we would typically want to outsource. And these ones here, these are red. Stop doing, do not pass go, get rid of them. These are your stop doing list activities. These are your delegate immediately. These are your get rid of, right? Because they're repeating and recurring. They're below your PBR, okay? They are not fun for you, and they are low skill, okay? Most other people can do that.
What you're telling me is that I shouldn't be jumping in the ute, going down to Bunnings or the local hardware store and getting materials for the boys on site as the business owner.
That is correct.
That's not why we got the apprentice, right?
Yeah, 100%. And look, like, that is sometimes the easiest thing to do, and why we sort of fall into that habit. But that is where I touched on very briefly before, okay? Over here, you possibly got into business because you identified as a great builder, okay? And that was fun and you were really good at it, okay? And that's awesome. But to go from having a busy job with overheads to being a business owner, you need to stop identifying as being a phenomenal builder, and you need to start identifying as being a phenomenal business owner, right? We talk a lot about the change that members need to go through as they grow, systemize, scale, and build resilience into their building companies. And one of the biggest and most difficult changes is they're here, they're trying to go over here, and they're often, most people go, what does this person have that I don't have? That's the wrong question to be asking, okay? I mean, it's right in some instances, but really what you should be asking immediately is, what do I have that they don't have? What do I need to stop doing, get rid of, and get out of my world so that I have the space, the capacity, but most importantly, the energy to be able to do what is going on up here? Because the only resource that is more finite than your time is your energy. Okay, you sleep for half the time if you're lucky in a day. Right, we've only got so many hours in a day. You've only got so much energy in a day as well. Okay, and you can't be wasting your energy on these tasks that maybe were very important when you were a great builder, but now you need to build the systems, build the people, build the processes so that you can become a great business owner. And a great business owner likely doesn't go, well, not likely, I know, because we've worked with hundreds of building companies over the last 14 years, doesn't go and pick up all the materials. They have a process for that. They have people that execute on that, among 101 other things.
And even some of the more successful guys, and I'm using this as a broad brushstroke here, but you look at some of the bigger building companies in your area, they'll all be the same. The one thing, or the couple of things that they do well is sales and marketing and project management. They sub out, even these big guys, they sub out their quantity surveying and pricing. They sub out even the labor to build the job. They are essentially doing those high level or high skill, high fun tasks of negotiation, sales, and dealing with clients, and everything else gets put on the back burner or solved in another way. And that's really what makes the money for these guys. So when you're looking at it in that same lens, they're definitely not jumping in the van to go down and get materials. They're also not sending out invoices themselves. They've got an office manager to do that. So yeah, definitely have a look at some of those aspects in your business and look at what you can get rid of.
100%. Like I said it before, just up here with like your stop doing list. Like this is your stop doing list as well. Just looked at it through a slightly different lens, and it's typically going to be all the repeating, recurring tasks that are below your PBR. Okay, so we often get the question a lot, like, should I be hiring I think I might go out and hire a project manager. What do you think? It's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. You don't need somebody to come and run your operations if you can't perfectly run all your operations using systems. You're probably using systems up in your head. So how do you think that's going to go when somebody new is going to come in? Like, unless they've got incredible comprehension and understanding of your business, it's not going to go particularly well. So you always want to start at the bottom and work your way up, okay? And then once you're at the top of the builder's ladder, then you're in a position to make one hire to make 10, okay? But right now what you want to do is you want to hire typically like a part-time office person or an admin assistant, okay? Maybe a full-time, an apprentice, somebody that's going to be able to free you up from being on the tools, okay? So that you can elevate and work above and on rather than in the business on a day-to-day basis. So like kind of like a bit of a sidestep here to who should I hire first. It's really situational, but by the book, rule of thumb is typically hire somebody for these tasks and the stop doing list, which means it's somebody that's probably a little bit cheaper. It's somebody in the office, somebody to free you up for like 20 to 40 hours a week, right? Who can take care of all the invoicing, the accounts, the emails, the immediate client inquiries, ordering some of the materials, the data entry, coordinating some of your project management software, putting together your price as an action plan for your presentation of a quote, doing your social media publishing, doing your marketing strategy or execution, your CEO, we sometimes call it your chief execution officer. So that you can be the real CEO. So hopefully that makes sense. Drop a comment, drop a like, drop a query or question, okay? Or save this video as well for future reference. But this is an exercise you should do right now. Exercise point 1, create a time audit. Exercise point 2, look at all the tasks in your time audit through this lens. Put them into one of these 4 quadrants. And then identify what needs to go into your calendar first, what you need to prioritize to shift the needle. What could you potentially outsource to a professional service to free up massive chunks of your time? What do you need to, and then who do you need to hire next? And what do you need to stop doing that are low skill? And then this is the job description of that person that you might hire next, okay? This is your stop doing list of all the tasks that fall into here. What can we eliminate? What can we delegate? What can we outsource? What can we automate, okay? So hopefully that's been helpful, guys. Here's to your success. Cam, do you have any questions, anything that you think we should touch on before we wrap up?
No, I think you pretty much covered it off there. I think the only other resource that I think people would find really, really helpful is that PBR, working out their professional builders rate. So if you want that video and can't find it in the search box, give us a PBR below, right? Or shoot us an email, team@theprofessionalbuilder with the subject line PBR. And one of the team will get that across to you and you can watch that video, work out your own PBR so you can start getting rid of those things that are below your hourly rate. And it probably will surprise you whatever your number is on there. So that's the last thing from me. Anything else from you on?
No, man. Again, control your energy, right? You've got less of it than you do time, and everybody's always talking about you've only got so many hours in the day. Well, hey, you've only got so much energy every single day as well. Best way to conserve energy is to delegate things out, build systems for it so that you've got leverage. So here's to your success. If you want help with this exercise or any of the other ones, give us a bell, drop a comment below, and we'll reach out. We'll give you the resource, we'll give you some of the exercises, and we can do it with you if you need. Here's to your success. Take care.
Cheers, guys. See ya.